What's going on, you guys? It's Ron here with the latest news on your fourth stimulus check update, as well as recurring stimulus check update, stimulus package update. Firstly, today, let's start off with news from the White House. President Biden is apparently on the move to hopefully turn this infrastructure bill into jobs quickly. Also, according to this news report, Republicans are looking at surging inflation as a winning issue as the party goes against the Democrats and their agenda. How does this affect the stimulus bill and its chances? Lastly, this report says that Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell won't be going to the White House signing ceremony for the infrastructure bill. We're going to discuss all of these and more in today's video, so definitely stick around to the end. But first, I want to say welcome back to all my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you guys are doing very well today. And for those who are brand new to the channel, my name's Ron. We cover all things personal finance, investing, cryptocurrencies, stock market updates, and of course, stimulus package updates. So if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell. That way you're notified as soon as I release new videos and content. And a lot of you guys have been asking me for more ways to be able to generate money from home. Be sure to hit the link in the description down below. I've shared very helpful links for you to be able to do so that you can generate additional income from home. But let's go ahead and jump into the updates here. All right, guys, first up, here's your daily update on the bipartisan and infrastructure bill, and of course the reconciliation bill, also known as the stimulus bill, which the Democrats are actually making good progress on. In fact, President Joe Biden will sign the infrastructure bill into law on Monday. Now that's pretty soon, guys, and we're about to see some significant changes, or at least so they say. Now today, let's start off with news from the White House. President Biden is apparently on the move to hopefully turn the infrastructure bill into jobs very quickly. But what did the president actually say about this? Let's find out more information here. It says that the Biden administration is racing to implement parts of the infrastructure bill as quickly as it can, hoping it can turn legislation into jobs as it tries to make the case for the White House's leadership on the economy. President Biden has seen his approval ratings falter amid rising gas and food prices and frustrations over goods shortages. On Wednesday, inflation hit its highest annual rate in 30 years. Now, I don't know, guys. I'm afraid of, possibly seeing some degree of hyperinflation going forward. Now, obviously, we have to wait and see on that, but, it's not looking all that good here. Just about a week ago, Congress passed the bipartisan infrastructure bill and handed it over to President Biden's desk for a signature. And it's just been sitting on his desk. After months of waiting, we're finally here at the cusp of a big victory for our country. The infrastructure deal promises millions of jobs for the people and numerous improvements in the country's overall infrastructure. This is actually kind of exciting, guys. The White House is hoping to get this done as soon as possible, so President Biden will be signing this bill on Monday. Technically, as soon as possible would have been the day that it got passed in the House, but I digress. But they'll be holding a signing ceremony with various colleagues, so should be something to look forward to, since that day will be a critical turning point in our history. In fact, considering the current landscape with rising inflation as well as sky-high prices, the timing of the passage of this bill into law is more than appropriate. While Democrats are touting the stimulus bill as a more helpful bill to address inflation, this infrastructure deal is also an excellent solution for now. We'll have to wait and see how this all goes down, though. Infrastructure bills can generally take months or even years to really turn into concrete construction jobs, and some parts of the current bill will take significant time to be implemented. So even when President Biden signs it on Monday, I wouldn't expect significant change on Tuesday. It's really unclear when or even if the administration will actually win political points for the measure sent to Biden by the House on Friday. But officials say that Americans will begin to see some impacts of the infrastructure bill in the coming months, particularly as they relate to projects funded through existing programs. Now, the article mentioned the possibility of the administration winning political points for this measure. President Biden could indeed win some much needed points once he actually signs the bill into law. Now, considering his low approval ratings lately, I'd say that he definitely wants to win the hearts of a significant percentage of our population and bring those ratings back up. It's almost a guarantee that he's going to improve his ratings after signing the deal. But we actually won't immediately feel the effects of the bill. It's likely going to be a slow and gradual improvement in the following months, and I bet that such will be the case for Biden's approval ratings as well. Now, once Biden officially signs the bill into law, numerous government agencies have said that they're going to start moving and implementing their own programs. So, for example, the Transportation Department plans to work on port infrastructure and make improvements. Now, with the supply chain issue right now, the department aims to ease processes and bottlenecks to expedite the delivery of goods and for supplies. One Democrat even says that there are many shovel-ready projects, meaning numerous plans just awaiting for funds to start. Also, several states have reported to be anxious to get more projects underway because of many backlogs. With the funding from the infrastructure deal, it's a no-brainer that many development projects will finally start and improve the conditions of business centers across the country. Now, despite the small victory the White House just had, a former domestic policy aide says that the administration is aware that Americans are not in a trusting mood right now. People want the government to show and do more action than just telling and doing lip service. Now, there's a good point here, and I bet it's not an uncommon feeling among the people. Comment down below. You guys think the government's doing enough for you right now? I don't know. Let me know what you're thinking. Drop me a comment below. Now, on the other hand, President Biden can only talk about the bill and its benefits for now. Until he actually signs it into law on Monday, he'll continue going to several states to market the bill and tout its many programs and benefits. When you think about it, it looks like a last-minute effort from the White House to educate the people about the bill right before it turns into law. Perhaps this is also one of their ways to increase Biden's approval ratings. Let's see what President Biden had to say about this. Quote, "Not only will we see more record-breaking job growth, we'll see lower prices, faster deliveries as well. This work is going to be critical as we implement the infrastructure bill, as we continue to build the economy from the bottom up and from the middle out by passing the Build Back Better plan. This is what the president said at the Port of Baltimore on Wednesday. Now, it seems like President Biden is giving us some reassurance that they have this thing under control. Now, again, this bill will bring a much needed and long overdue overhaul in our infrastructure, and I can bet everybody's fairly excited about that. Also, officials said that they're laying down the groundwork for implementing the bill since the Senate passed the measure in August. Now, that was around 3 months ago, and that's a lot of time for preparation for the government. Hope they weren't just screwing around during that time. Now, considering the advanced planning that they did, we could see the impacts of this bill sooner than later. Lastly, keep in mind that Democrats are also working on this human infrastructure bill, aka the stimulus bill. Progress on that seems to be going pretty well, and Democrats aim to take a vote on that next week. Now, imagine the two bills working together to address the country's problem. If the Democrats' promises are true, then we could be in for something pretty big here. It says here the infrastructure bill represents an infusion of $550 billion in new spending, much of it over 5 years. The responsibilities cut across multiple federal agencies, which will need to work with the private sector and state and local governments. Quote, unlike consumer spending or consumption, investment is a long-term project. It's not something that happens overnight. Investment means we're putting money in things that will have an impact over time. This comes from Ellen Hughes Cromworth, a senior resident fellow at the centrist Democratic think tank 3rd Ward and former Commerce Department economist under former President Obama. Now, with $550 billion in new spending, this bill would add to the national debt, unlike the stimulus bill. However, it's not so bad. As Hughes Cromworth said, this is a long-term investment, not just mindless spending. Let's just hope that they hold true to that. Now, the total bill is around $1 trillion, so the government has a lot to work with there. This is for the country's improvement, so hopefully we can get some positive results and a positive return with successful program implementation. Now, regarding programs, we already have some information on that one. Now, apparently the Energy Department will have 60 programs funded by the infrastructure deal. Congress told agencies to make programs and report back progress, so it seems like the Energy Department did their homework on time. This is definitely putting the money where it's needed. On top of that, the Commerce Department will have $45 billion set aside to expand broadband for rural and minority communities. Their ultimate goal would be to give every American access to affordable broadband, which is necessary right now. Now, the government is actually ready to push on with these programs and start implementation. However, they're not really in a big rush right now, and they're more focused on getting it right than finishing things quickly. I'd say that sounds like a pretty good approach here, especially since they really can't afford any slip-ups here. But what do you guys think about this? At this point, President Biden's infrastructure bill is looking promising and also transformative. Hopefully things go well. Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments below. Up next, this time let's discuss the rising inflation, the Republicans' view on this, and how this all connects to the stimulus bill. Now, according to this report, Republicans are looking at surging inflation as a winning issue as the party goes against the Democrats and their agenda. Now, if you guys missed it, the Labor Department revealed that an annual inflation rose 6.2% last October, which is the highest level in more than 30 years. Inflation has been rising at an alarming rate for 3 straight months now. This is just record-breaking. Now, what did the Republicans say about this and the Democrats? Republicans have spent months blaming Biden and Democrats for rising food and gas prices, and inflation was a central focus of government-elect Glenn Youngkin's successful bid for the Virginia governor's mansion. While Democrats are hoping to celebrate the passage of Biden's bipartisan infrastructure package and turn focus to bright spots in the economy, the GOP is betting that Americans will care most about the day-to-day pinch that they feel in the store or at the pump, and that they'll blame Biden's agenda. Quote, American families are facing record-setting costs for everyday goods, from gas prices, groceries, yet Joe Biden continues to push for trillions of dollars in wasteful spending and the largest tax hike in decades. This is what Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel said in a statement. Now, this is just another round of Democrats versus Republicans, and it's really not a big surprise at all here. Frankly, this is another case of Republicans pointing at Democrats for the current problems that we're facing. However, the Republicans do have some mixed truths in there. Now, of course, rising prices of everyday goods and gas are indeed rising. Democrats are also pushing for big spending and tax hikes. All those are true. But Democrats will definitely disagree that all of this is wasteful spending. As President Biden has already said multiple times, the stimulus bill would have already been paid for. There will be no need to add to the national debt with this bill, at least according to the Democrats. The opposition contested that claim and insisted that they wait for an official cost analysis from the Congressional Budget Office before expressing their support for the bill. The White House had already released an analysis before which stated that there would be no additional spending for the bill. Moderates will see the two and see if they match. If the two match, then they would guarantee their support. However, if there are differences, I bet that there would be another delay in the process, which would certainly hurt the stimulus bill's chances of passage. Hopefully we can get an update on that one too, also pretty soon. Back to the Republicans. All right, so Republicans are set to use the rising inflation as a critical issue against the Democrats once the midterms come around, and those are right around the corner. It seems that they're already going after Democrats even early at this point in time, and I must say that they're preparing quite early. Surveys suggest that this Republican method could be effective, and we can see that in Biden's approval ratings, which continue to go down. However, despite the rising inflation and prices, there are still some positive things to take away from the situation. Job growth, the stock market, consumer spending, and household savings remain strong. I mean, heck, If you're a homeowner and you were a homeowner before the Biden administration, your home value probably went up 10-20% by now. So you're probably smiling also. But we can't expect that to stay the same during this time. Supply chain issues continue to trouble the country, and a solution is still far from sight. Economists say, though, that President Biden can't do a lot to limit the rise in prices and fix many issues. It's just too many problems to handle all at once. Now, this is where the stimulus bill enters and offers a solution. Democrats are saying that this will somehow alleviate inflation and help millions of Americans get by with many programs. However, the inflation spike poses an immediate threat to Biden's Build Back Better plan, the $1.75 trillion social services and climate bill Democrats are aiming to pass through budget reconciliation. Quote, from the grocery store to the gas pump, Americans know the inflation tax is real, and DC can no longer ignore the economic pain Americans face every single day. This is what Manchin tweeted on Wednesday. So here we have Joe Manchin back at it again with his contrarian takes. It's all good though. Sometimes I wonder if he's really part of the Democrats, but then I remember that's what he does as the opposition within the party. He's one of the biggest threats to the stimulus bill, and Democrats still have not found a way to get him on their side. After reading his tweet, you kind of get the vibe that his main concerns are rising inflation and economic factors. Now, if you've been following our show, you already know that this is how Manchin rolls, and it's really not a surprise anymore at this point. Now, like I said earlier, Democrats plan to use the stimulus bill to fight inflation. They'll be doing this by implementing stimulus provisions such as lowering drug prices, lowering the cost of childcare, Medicare expansions, free community college, universal pre-K, corporate tax hikes, affordable housing, rental assistance, an extension of the child tax credits, climate change policy, paid leave, and a whole bunch more. Some of these programs are actually now on the chopping block due to the opposition. However, I just wanted to mention them since Democrats really haven't finalized anything yet. Also, did you notice something was missing here? Where is another round of stimulus checks? Everybody's been looking for a fourth stimulus check, and studies have shown they've revealed that such payments would be necessary and beneficial, especially for low-income earners. Democrats brought this up in discussions months ago, many times, but they haven't really talked about it recently. But like I said earlier, they haven't finalized anything yet, so our chances are not dead in the water yet, and we could still see them push for this at the last minute. Of course, I'll be sure to update you guys once some news drops on this one, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, have your notification bells turned on, and eagerly await my next